The unnamed update for the Minecraft Ambience Spring Drop of 2025 is almost over. They've now added a background panorama, which means, yeah, we're probably going to see the end of this update. And there's no better time than this to talk about all the things that would fit in perfectly with a spring drop. These are all the ideas over the past few months that I've found that I think would fit really well in the Minecrafty style of this spring drop. Unfortunately, we'll probably see none of it now since the drop is almost over, but these are cool things. So there are 3 categories of feature types that I will go over. First, tweaks and changes to what they already have in their spring drop. The next is adding more of their ambience features, like we have seen all throughout the spring drop with like the wildflowers and other things, leaves and all that. And then the last is more mob variants that would fit right in with what they've done with the pigs, sheep, and chicken, and cows. Not really sheep, a little bit of sheep. Sheep get half credit. But let's start over with the tweaks and changes that they could so easily add into this spring drop. So I saw this post from Orbic showing chickens with new tails. Of course, the cold variant of the chicken actually does have a new little tail. And I'm not sure if they would necessarily have to add it to the old temperate chicken, but seeing this tail on the warm chicken is just delicious. It makes me want to like cook them in an oven and, you know, just eat them. It's delicious. It is delicious. Chickens with a tail. They remodeled the chickens. They've redone the chickens. Just give them a little tail. It's so cute. The next thing I found from an account I wish not to name is placeable chicken eggs, where you wait for them to hatch, but you put them on a hay block. You know how sniffer eggs, if you take them and you put them on moss, they will actually hatch a little faster. And I think that is so cool. It's taking a concept of something that's already in Minecraft and adding it to the chickens. Especially now since there's new chicken egg variants with the warm and cold biome chickens. Actually having placeable chicken eggs, and especially making them placeable on hay bales to make them hatch faster, would be really cool. It is kind of weird that you just take chicken eggs and you throw them and magically you get a chicken. You know, that's usually what you do if you want to egg someone's house or car, not to hatch a chicken. So I think this would be a cool addition, since this is already kind of a feature that we've seen in Minecraft. And finally, moving on from chickens, is different types of wildflowers. From the very beginning, I have loved the new wildflower in Minecraft. However, one thing I have always thought is, wow, we already have yellow and white flowers. Like, they could do this with so many fun and unique colors. And here's just a rendition of some of those other wildflower options that we could have seen. Granted, this is something that I think could be added anytime, but it really would fit in with the wildflowers that they've already just added. Hopefully we can see more flower types in the future. I would just love it. So since we're under the topic of tweaks and changes, is it just me that it's weird that pine trees have leaves falling from them instead of needles? Pine trees really should not have leaves. I think they're diseased. We need to burn the forest, people. We need to burn the forest. I was really hoping that this would be something that we'd see fixed before this far into the snapshot cycle, but I think at this point it's kind of clear that they're not planning on fixing this in this update. And I've seen a lot of people comment specifically on the pine tree leaves. Pine trees shouldn't have leaves. They just shouldn't. The next thing is this bad boy right behind me. Well, I've been making this video for months, and one of the things I was gonna say was, wow, Java should really add parity from Bedrock Edition and add fallen logs to the game. Well, Minecraft beat me to it, and this makes a great ambient feature. Currently, they can even spawn with vines and mushrooms, which just really is great. It adds to the ambience. However, my suggestion for tweaks and changes is to expand it by having moss also be able to spawn on it. They're dead trees. They're already covered in vines and mushrooms. So I think it would be cool to add just a little bit of moss carpet on top of the fallen logs, and it would even make moss just a little more accessible in a few more biomes. So I think it's a win-win. It's just adding some more funness to the fallen trees. I think it would be neat. Since we're on the topic of trees, here's also a cool idea, having big fallen jungle logs in the jungles. And hey, guess what? This rendition also has moss on it. Wow, great minds think alike. And hey, wouldn't it be a good idea if they added dying trees from Minecraft Bedrock 2? Which are just trees with more vines on it. It's the little things, but I think that would be cool. More variations of trees in different biomes. That's all this is, but it would be nice. But overall, those were just the quick tweaks and changes of what Minecraft has already added into the spring drop. Now I'm going to move into the category of actually adding more ambience features. This next thing would, however, not actually be adding any new blocks, as much as expanding upon one we already have. Mushrooms are great. They can be placed in dark areas, and that's it. That's how the mushrooms... Oh, hi sheep. Bah humbug. Get out of here. Get out of here. This is the only way you'll ever see mushrooms spawn in your world. You can only place them on the bottoms of blocks, not on the sides of blocks. And you know, my thing is expanding this so that mushrooms can be placed on the side of logs. This wouldn't be adding a new block. This is just keeping the same mushrooms and adding a new functionality / a new orientation to them. This would allow that beautiful birch forest concept art with the mushrooms that we already have in the game. And guess what? It wouldn't add a whole new block to the creative inventory because it's just an orientation of the blocks we already have. I've never seen anyone talk about the regular mushrooms we've had in this way. It's always been, oh, we have to add a whole new mushroom block to put on the sides of trees. No. Let's just use the ones we already have. And this next one is pretty simple, would add some great ambience, but once again is more than just tweaking what they've already done in this drop so far. And it's just moss patches to generate on the surface. Wow, look at that, ain't she a beaut? It's gorgeous. This just really proves it. It's the little things that count. Okay, pop quiz. Are we looking at a beach or a desert? You'd never know. It's the same old sand. I'll zoom out for you a little bit. Well, the turtles might give it away. But you know what? Sand is really common. The sand is under the water, the sand is on the beaches, the sand is around everywhere. I love sand. Sand is great. Want to know what else is great? This idea. This says is beach sand would have a seashell design in the texture to tell it apart from the desert. You're either going to love this idea or think it's the absolute worst one on the list. I don't think there would have to be much difference other than it's the type of block. I feel like you should still be able to take sea sands or beach sand and be able to shove it in a furnace, still turn it into glass. I don't think anything should change other than it's just a sand block variation that has shells on it. Looking in the water, having just a few seashells within the actual sand texture here and there would also add so much ambience. And I think having it expand onto the beach itself, it would just really make it pop, make it be more unique than, oh hey, there's just a large patch of sand with no cactuses. Like I said, this might be the dumbest one that you think I have on this list, but I saw the idea and I thought it was neat. So for me, the firefly bush might be my favorite thing in the game. I'm so glad that fireflies are in the game and also in a non-laggy way. Having fireflies actually be particles and not entire entities filling up your world. This was definitely the best way to go about it, rather if you like frogs eating them or not. And this is why the firefly bush is probably my favorite thing of the entire spring drop update. Boy was I stoked when I saw this idea of, well, if we have a firefly bush, why not a butterfly bush? It's the same thing. They gotta copy and paste it and change the texture. I'm joking, that is a lot more difficult than it sounded, but having a variant of the firefly bush for butterflies would be so cool. I mean, I'm not sure how you do the little particles flying around because, you know, the fireflies have to probably look like fireflies. They shouldn't just be one pixel. But not only would this give another flower into the game, but it would also give fireflies. You could have a whole little firefly garden and really bring a Minecraft garden to life with all the flowers around it and having fireflies, not fireflies, butterflies around your garden. So this is really a whole nother take on the firefly bush. But I would love it. This would be probably, out of everything I've named on this entire list so far, this is my top hit. Now, I don't know if this should really be a quote-unquote ambience feature edition, or if it's just saying, hey, I think they should expand upon their last drop they did, but I think these can kind of work hand in hand. So over here is the Pale Garden, and it's an exact copy of the Dark Oak Garden, because one's Pale Oak, one's Dark Oak. So there are twin biomes. I call them brother and sister. Well, I think the brother has something that the sister doesn't. Now, in the modern day world, you might not know that, but we have mushrooms. We have mushrooms throughout the regular dark oak forest, which is cool. It adds something to see in the garden. or in the forest. However, in the Pale Garden, there is no mushrooms. There's moss, it's dead, it's ugly. You know, that's the point. It's a gray old biome. But this post is saying, why not put mushrooms in the Pale Garden, just like they are in the other dark oak forest? So this is just a pale mushroom in the Pale Garden. The last few things in this ambience section are things that are kind of huge and will never get added to this drop at this point, but something we need in the future and something I've talked about so much on this channel in the past. They need an oasis biome that finally has the palm trees, and I think that's where the camels should spawn. Instead of just the whole desert being where the camels spawn, this oasis biome would be a sub-biome inside the desert, the already existing desert. It's just a sub-biome, and that's where the camels spawn, and it's, wink wink nod nod, the old biome vote for the desert update. We need the biome update. And now that we do have updated deserts with new dry grass and new flowers on the cactus, also we should go ahead and add in that Badlands biome vote with the cactus and the tumbleweed. We need that. But now that brings us onto the mob variants section, and this is the section that is hard to pull off because I am a programmer. That means I am not a computer graphics expert. So I did not even bother to go through and try and make my own textures. So I'm going to do the best I can at explaining these variants. Looking at these beautiful spawn eggs, we can see we have a polar bear, and everyone calls it the most useless mob, or one of them. I think he's up there. On every single list, he's the most useless. I like him. He's ambient, just like this whole update has been. What my idea is, and has been for a long time, especially now that they're adding different variants of mobs, depending on what biomes they are, I think they should go ahead and remove this guy. Remove the polar bear spawn egg, and rename it as the bear spawn egg. If you spawn the bear spawn egg in the winter biomes, guess what? You're still gonna get a polar bear. You're gonna get this exact little cutie right here. However, I feel like if you go into, maybe not a regular forest, pretend this is a spruce forest, and you spawn it, well actually, you spawn it right here in this regular forest, you should get this guy, but he should reverse Michael Jackson himself and turn brown. I think we should have a nice brown bear if you spawn this bear in the forest, and then if you were to go to a taiga biome, let's pretend over here is a taiga biome, oh yeah, this is a beautiful taiga biome, and you spawn the polar bear over here, you'd get a black bear. 3 different variants of bears depending on what biome you put the polar bear, or it would just be the regular bear spawn egg in. Yes, the polar bear would still just be as useless as it was before, but guess what? At least it'd be more common. You'd find a variant of the bear in a few different biomes, making it not just locked behind the Arctic biomes. We're back to the beach, and guess what? It's a turtle. And this is a beautiful turtle. It's my favorite turtle. Out of all the turtles in Minecraft, it is my favorite. However, this was just something. It could be neat, it could be really dumb. Probably the least needed on this entire list. But this is, if we go into F3, I don't know if you can see it, well, it still says we're in a river. This is not an ocean. Here's a good example. So, these are 2 oceans. No matter what, in this ocean, we're getting this turtle, and in this ocean, hey, we're getting the same turtle. My idea is that in regular oceans, right, this, if we go into F3, this is just an ocean. That's all it's called. Simple as that, an ocean. However, this is over here is a tropical ocean. So, a tropical, it's more like a sea, under the sea, you know, all that fun stuff. My idea is this turtle should stay the same. We go over here, this turtle should have a different texture to more look like a sea turtle. Instead of just a fully green turtle, more of a brown shell, it'd look like a sea turtle. That's it. That's the only difference. Warm turtle variant, regular turtle variant. Ta-da! Warm and cold variants of mobs. Fun. Oh, and checking my list of everything to talk through, I guess they could do a cold variant of the sea turtle that would, I don't know, look like a snapping turtle. If that's an idea, if you can picture what's inside my head right now, that could be neat. So this mob variant I found in the middle of a video. Of course, all the links that I've shown off today are in the description below, but he said to take the idea of cod and slap the old fish texture on it to give another variant. I don't know if this would be in the cold biomes where cod can spawn, or if it should honestly just be an entire another fish mob entirely. I thought it was neat though, so I added it in. It's ambient. And then, much like my idea with the turtles, here's someone that took the dolphin and gave it different textures depending on its temperature of biome too, which I think is pretty cool. Although instead of saying vanilla, I think that should say temperate, but I think that's a neat idea. I don't know, the one in the cold looks like more of an orca whale. I think there's like a reason they're not adding sharks and stuff. I'm not sure if they would add a whale, but adding the pink dolphin, that's cute. I think they could put that in the tropical oceans. And this is the last one, and these are quote-unquote weird. And I'm even going to stand on top of a tree to do it because I have talked about these in the previous Minecraft cow update video. I think they need to add the moo blooms and the cluckshrooms. They are not ambient and they would not fit in with this spring drop whatsoever, but they are mob variants that we've seen in the Minecraft universe before. Just bring them over. Bring them over. I love them. They're cute and I think they would get along well with what we have in Minecraft. Just add over the cluckshroom and the moo bloom. But with that, that is all the ideas that I have gathered. Like I said, it's unfortunate that we're so far into this little drop cycle that we will not see any of this. I'm guaranteeing you. We will probably never see any of this ever, honestly. But it's the little things that could make such a difference. And I feel like a lot of these would fit in exactly with what Minecraft has done with this drop, or at least tried to do. And these are just some expansions. These are just a list of ideas that I have found or have thought of that I really, really like. Let me know what you think would fit into this whole spring drop with the ambience update and mob textures and all that jazz in the comments below, because I love reading through these ideas. But with that, that is all I have for this time. See you in the next one.